As we just heard, Ahmad is very, very accomplished in many different ways. Being a public speaker already, a project manager, a professional architect, having his MBA, he has done many things and packs decades into days as it relates to his leadership and as it relates to his experience. But for the first time ever, please help me welcome Mr. Ahmad, the author of The Leadership Zone. Please come on up, say a few words, my friend. Let's give him a hand, folks.
I'm so nervous. Good evening, everybody. On behalf of my wife, Karima, my sons, Asad and Bashir, our extended family, which most probably comprises a big chunk of those who are here, Duranai coaching team, and myself, I welcome you to the launch of the Leadership Zone, and I thank you from the depth of my heart for coming here to join me in the celebrations. Before I go into the book and myself, I would like to acknowledge a few people who have contributed to this book. So allow me, they are in alphabetical order. Please do not read any political interpretations into the names of why they are arranged that way. So I'd like to thank Raymond Aaron, and he is always one because he starts with double A, his last name. Okay, so Peter Acito, who was supposed to be speaking at this very moment, but unfortunately he sent us a message that he had a stomach flu and he could not come, and he sends his regrets to all of you. Sheikh Abdullah Idris Ali, he is the General Secretary of ISNA. Janet Bray Atwood, who is my mentor and teacher and the Passion Test facilitator. Nikki Belu, he's a CEO fitness coach. David Buck, he's the CEO of Coachville. Kevin D. Crone is chairperson of Dale Carnegie Business Group in Mississauga. Stephen M.R. Covey, he is the leader and the son of the leader and the leader trainer, and I think everybody who is into leadership will know who he is, so I don't want to go any further there. Robert Demodusola, Vice President of Husky Injection Molding. Frank Field is the Market Manager for 7-Eleven. Dr. Tariq Habib, he was the former Group CEO of Voice Trust, and he is present somewhere here. I saw him before. Naila Ibrahim is the owner of the Global Magnetic Image. Jim Kouzes is from the Levy School of Business in California. James Coetzee is a lawyer from the Mills & Mills law firm in Toronto. Susan Lynch is the owner of Barebone Marketing. James McNeil is the president of EQ Communications, and you will hear him later in this program. And he is my teacher and my mentor. Naveed Manzoor is the CEO of Strata One. Don McPhee is the publisher of Mississauga Life. Dr. Brian Scher is the owner of the Wellness Center, Rosedale Wellness Center in Toronto. William Smith is from the law firm DSF, and many others who contributed to the book but did not want their names to be mentioned or quoted. I also want to thank my Breakthrough Coaching Mastermind team, most of whom are here. I want to also thank my sons Asad and Bashir, who has always been there to help me when I needed, or sometimes I had to kind of force them to help me. I also want to thank my wife, Karima, who tolerated the time that I spent at the computer instead of helping with the domestic chores or looking for a real job. I'm mentioning these names not because only that I want to thank them because they've contributed, but it taught me a lesson. And that lesson is that the era of ragged individualism is gone. We are now into team building, and everything that we can do has to be in collaboration and cooperation with other people. And if we can do that, by the way, in my book I described it as the sixth barrier, the barrier to collaboration and cooperation. If we can cross through that barrier, there is no limit to our achievements that we can do. So, I mentioned that I'm very shy. Actually, I grew up in a very shy family. My father was a very strong person, and perhaps that was good in one way, but in another way that the children cannot express themselves when they have such a strong umbrella on top of them. So I grew up to be very shy. And what Mr. Formuli talked about me, ordinarily the old Ahmad, my face would have been red like tomato. And that would have been overwhelming. But what happened was that as a result of the tools that I have put in this book, I have broken through those barriers. And as a matter of fact, I don't look at it that these are great achievements. The achievements could have been much greater, but it shows that there is hope for the new generation. Because I grew up in a very poor village, which is only 120 kilometers from Kabul, but it is 120 years behind in culture and development. They still don't have electricity even today, and they don't have TVs and things like that. And sometimes when some of my relatives take a laptop there with the battery, they will show some of the pictures that I post on Facebook and show it to my relatives. So coming from that and to be able to achieve this much should be a sign of hope for the new generation. And what I tell everybody also in my seminars is that the new generation has to excel the older one. Because if we don't do it, if the older generation is here and the younger generation doesn't reach there and they're here and their children are here and their children are here, then the civilization is going down the drain. As a matter of fact, what we should do is that if we are here, our children has to be here and their children has to be here and their has to be there. And that's one of the lessons that I actually preach in the book, in the leadership zone. When I was writing the leadership zone, I was thinking of several situations, and I would like to mention what they were. When I was writing the book, one of the situations that I was thinking was that if an individual gets this book, for individual, it is to be the manual of awareness and the roadmap of empowerment for a better and bigger version of themselves. So that was one of the things that I thought. The other one was that this book should do for families and friends when they are together. It should start a conversation that takes their relationship to a better and higher level. The other thing, the third thing I was thinking about was that for organizations, it should be a manual for staff engagement and productivity. And for the youth, it should be building blocks of a strong foundation for their success and career. So thinking of these four things, when I wrote the book, those people who go with a copy of the book and hopefully they will read it, I would like to hear from them whether I have succeeded in any of these, how shall I say, indices that I have set forth for the book. I also want to mention that besides just writing the book, it is not enough. We have other programs that we have in mind for each one of these four categories. So for people who are individually going to get this book, we have developed a program which is called Success 101. And you will get a copy when you go out, or in that bag there is a copy. And this one is to give the people the tools for individuals, entrepreneurs, business owners, and their staff, for them to be successful, to make more money, to have a happy, healthy, and wealthy life. For organizations who are struggling with engagement in their organizations, we have developed a program which is called DARE, and it's acronym for Leadership Development, Accountability, Results, and Engagement. And that is that program that we have developed. Now, for the youth, we have thought a lot about it, and what we thought was that we individually cannot do much about it. But I have a challenge and a proposal for business owners, especially those business owners who support youth programs through various institutions and youth organizations. And my proposal is like this, that if they buy a certain number of books and donate them, let's say, to YMCA or YWCA or any other youth institution or organization, we will donate 50% of that number to the same organization. And this pledges for the next 5 years. Because I have a 5-year long-term goal for myself and for Duranai Enterprises, which is my company, what we want to achieve. And one of the things that we want to achieve is, to change the statistics of the youth struggling in this society. This pledge that if an organization buys 20 books and give it to YMCA, we will give 10 books to YMCA. If they buy 100 books and give it to them, we will give 50 books. If they buy 1,000 books, we'll give 500 books to them. And we will be promoting this in the organizations outside, but today is the beginning. Now, the thing is that a lot of people, when I was writing this book, they told me that, you are from Afghanistan, and when is this book going to be available for the Afghan people who do not have access to English? And I want to tell that I will be seeking people in the Afghan community here who are more fluent in Pashto and in Dari than I am, to collaborate with me to translate this book into Dari and Pashto, and to make it affordably available to the Afghan people. But besides that, I have a colleague and a friend. His name is Jamal Kakar, and he is somewhere here. Jamal, where are you? Yeah, there, Jamal. We have been colleagues preparing video clips when we were in the Afghan Association for the TV program in Pashto, which had a lot of support and many comments that we received from the community on the internet. So we have already discussed the possibility of creating 50 one-hour video programs based on this book in Dari and Pashto. And we will be proposing this to the Afghan government to finance this program and to give us 1 hour airtime on national TV, so that not only Afghans who can read and write can have access to it, but also a lot of Afghans who have access to TV but they don't know how to read and write can benefit from this book. So I will cut my program anymore. I think I took all the time that I had, plus what Peter Acito had also. So since he is not here, I took the liberty of sharing his time with you. I think these are big plans, but big plans, no matter how big or small they are, they start with small steps. So I will end my program or my presentation to you with the Chinese saying, which says that a journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. And I will say goodbye to you now and let other people to come and tell us what are those first steps that we need to take. So thank you very much for coming here, and thank you for sharing this celebration with me.